Ladies and gentlemen, both of these teams sit 2-1 in Swiss play for U.S. Quidditch Cup 11. Somebody's going home a little disappointed here today. Somebody's got to lose. Derek Malone, typically a keeper for Texas Tech. The Red Raiders, who are in the white, and then the Rochester Thrustrels, who run exclusively two-male beater, are out here today. And I have a Texas Tech alum with me on the color commentary today. It's Philip O'Brien back again.
It's good to be here. I am a Texas Tech alumni, so if I end up accidentally cheering, I apologize.
If you end up accidentally cheering, I think you're fired, right? That's how that works, right? I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
I'm kidding. You're here because it's fun. We're here to have fun. And it's Sean Townsend in law school at Texas Tech. Already graduated, gets the first goal of this game.
I actually just told them they need to get a guy next to a hoop and draw the attention and pass it over. They did it already.
Yeah, Texas Tech usually executes pretty well. They got a bunch of smart players on their side. And Lucas Callum may not be at their use on the field, but his ability to execute and use his mind and increase the Quidditch IQ of his teammates is going to be a huge part. Are they going to try and say Sean was beat before is the question. There is a conference between all of the officials.
Yeah, it's unfortunate what happened to Lucas at regionals. Broke his collarbone. He's tried to get back, but he's got a couple of microfractures on the backside, so he's going to have to see another surgeon. So hoping for the best for his health, though.
And Lucas, the way he's talking, he said 12 weeks. He's thinking he can still play for Major League Quidditch this summer, which is interesting for him. I'm sure he's going to try and rush back, and hopefully if we do our job as friends, we will tell him not to do that.
Yeah.
He's got a lot more games to play for Texas Tech.
Yep,
and,
they need him going forward.
It's a shame they can't have him here, but they have come up big time here today. 2-1 so far in the Swiss play, which means by definition both of these teams are in. Right now they are playing to not have to play early in the morning.
Yep, they played some tight games today. The first two, Derek Malone able to pull for the win. The last one, they didn't stay level-headed, got some cards at the end, and Penn State was able to pull for the victory. So they're looking for some redemption after that game right now.
By the way, the discussion is whether or not Sean Townsend scored that goal. Nobody said the goal is wiped away, so it's 10-0. Rochester already getting a little chippy here. Coming up the pitch. And he's going to be beat before Derek Malone on the tackle of a beater for Rochester. He's going to be beat before. Now Rochester trying to get an attack going. Sean Townsend, a very difficult point chaser to get past. A shot taken, deflected in. That was
a fantastic shot. Really, I think it hit the lower part of the hoop and bounced up through, which, that's pretty much an unstoppable shot. If you can make a shot from that distance at that speed, that's just good for the offense.
And Quam gets a beat up front. Derek Malone is beat as well. Rochester wins the beater battle. Now the pressure is to come. Now they have to wait. Make sure that they stay patient. Make sure you take the last possible moment to make that pass. Sean Townsend puts the ball on the turf and cannot gain possession of it back. Rochester might have a goal here, and they do. It's 2010.
Yep. Tech, both of their beaters got beat out. They didn't go up together as a team. They can't leave the chasers hanging. Chasers weren't able to space it enough.
And with two male beaters, expect a good amount of aggression, especially pressing forward. Once Rochester realizes they can get you once, they're going to try and do it every single time until you prove to them that you cannot be got, especially with the beater pressure up front. So it's got to come down to either being aggressive from the Texas Tech beaters with their one bludger, which they have some pretty talented guys there who are versatile in their positioning, but Rochester plays this all the time.
They just made a switch back to traditional. Tech just subbed out Derek Malone. Looks like he's gonna go back in at keeper,
which is always going to be a good point in terms of scoring. Sean Townsend's going to be called no good on the score, and now they're going to get it back up top.
Nice
Looks like a drive and held on to the ball for just a bit too long, trying to look for a pass option. Always difficult to judge when that bludger is coming in, especially when you're not familiar with the beaters that you're dealing with. Sean Townsend going to be beat up top. Rochester's going to have a clean lane right now. Are they going to take it? Quam is going to beat the other beater. Oh, wow. Texas Tech's got a free run at the hoops. Can they get the finish, though? And nice strong ran towards the defender.
He's got to either fake it at a hoop and go to the next. He can't take a short shot right there at the guy's hand right in front of him.
That would have been easy buckets. That would have been easy points where Rochester does not give up very easily.
No. You gotta be forceful with those finishes if you're gonna go at one hoop. You gotta.
As Perry
really
Wang is into the field of play here for Rochester, gets one bludger loose after beating the opposing beater for Texas Tech. Sean Townsend looking for a tackle. Is he going to be able to square one up? He is. And is it going to be? Yeah, it's going to be bad contact.
Bad contact. He was good initially. It looked like he re-engaged as he
exploded
released.
towards him.
Yep. And he has a penchant for these. Not happy about it.
And Sean Townsend, a quick-footed guy, so when it comes to squaring up an opponent, especially when they're running the perimeter, it's usually not that difficult unless he's got somebody in his way. Typically a beater, even when you set a screen on Sean, he's usually quick enough to get around it.
Looks like Cody's ready to beat the keeper, so they're going to – the chasers of Tech should be watching for this pass right here.
Yeah, they shouldn't be looking at the ball. They should be looking at where it's going to go immediately.
Nice deflection right there, and they got the ball back.
And they're trying to cut off Derek Malone, and Cody Boyce is going to come over and cut off Rochester from access to the quaffle. Malone back at his natural position.
He's a very effective driving keeper if he gets no bludger situations, but those have been few and far between today. So. And with a great beating team, it's going to be interesting to see how he attacks this defense. I'm very interested to see if they're going to be able to get anything going here.
And Derek Malone, very slick with his passes, also difficult to take down, especially under duress. He can now retreat into the backcourt. And now Perry Wang looks like he's on the attack here, and he's actually going to beat Malone in the quad. And now another beat from Rochester. Their aggression, as soon as that quaffle picks a direction, is pretty impressive. Derek Malone with a nice tackle up front,
nice
a tip in by 95, and that's going to release Sean Townsend from the box. That was really well executed by Rochester, especially under duress.
That was a very nice luxury to have a female chaser, number 37, able to make that drive, take a hit, and make a perfect dish over to her
And Rochester
keeper.
is a testament to what happens when you give people a chance to get better. A lot of teams relegate their female chasers to positions where they don't touch the ball a lot. Rochester does not have the personnel to have the ability to put female beaters out there. So they run two male beater, adjusting to their personnel, their situation for recruitment. And Derek Malone looks like he's got a free run at the hoops. He's going to finish. And as I was saying, Rochester, they let their female chasers go out there and make plays for them, and they do. They give them a chance to succeed, and they reward them for it. A lot of teams try and really push their female chasers to the outside portions of the scoring or the offense involvement.
It can, but you also, it looks to me that they have exceptional female chasers as well. They got to have the work ethic, want to do it, and have the athleticism, and nothing can stop them. That's such a huge advantage. Oh, looks like a goaltend. He is a chaser. It looked like he stuck his hand through the back of the hoop and knocked the hoop down to try to block that.
Right. It's going to be automatic points. Sean Townsend. Oh, that's not Sean Townsend up there. Sorry, he was up top. Zach New.
Yellow.
Diving at that potential shot. Once again, the Rochester female chasers coming into play here big time. In the right spot, in the blind spot of the Texas Tech defense.
Definitely.
It is 40-20 in favor of the Rochester Threstrels.
I think Tech really needs to slow this game down to have a chance to be in snitch range at the end. Take advantage when there's fast break opportunities, but the turnovers are what's going to kill them. If they're going to lose this game, it's going to be mostly off of just inability to move the ball around, turning the ball over at the top and having easy runs the other direction.
And Sean Townsend being covered by Perry Wang, almost waiting for Derek Malone, challenging him to make that pass to Sean Townsend. And he's actually going to be beat up top. Derek could have made that pass at the last second, but Rochester's going to burn him for that pass up top.
That's exactly what I was just mentioning about that's how they're going to beat Tech, is if they turn the ball over at the top.
It's near impossible to get back on defense, especially when you're a chaser on the wings, and even with the speed of Sean Townsend. And after a while, late in the game, you get tired.
Yep. And Malone, they did a good job of holding on to him, forced him to try to spin out, and didn't see a pass option. And that's you got to have your pass options against good tackling defenses.
Derek Malone takes a shot. It's going to be no good off the bottom of the hoop. It turns it sideways, which is disappointing. It looks like. And this comes down to the beater situation for Texas Tech, really the consistency throughout the line to be able to maintain bludger control, and that has not been shown here.
Nope.
Texas Tech taking an ugly loss on day one of Southwest Regionals to Sharknadoes way back when, and then recovering well enough to perform to qualify for nationals, a team that has been on a bit of a roller coaster this season.
Yeah, their beaters were really disjointed early in the day, especially at regionals. They got the game together. Oh, another score from. They've really got to turn it around today, just like they did that day. But they got to do it in a short time frame here.
And now Sean Townsend being sent from behind. Rochester trying to say that Sean Townsend's fully extending his arms. So is the female chaser defending Sean. So he is more than his right to get that equivalent exchange. Sean is now being set up again. And yes, Zach New should be beat. Lucas Callan coming over there to argue his case as speaking captain for Texas Tech.
Like that just preserves you for the rest of the game.
And then, of course, as time goes on, it rears in the back of the mind of a defender. It's like, this guy's the shooter. This guy can take that shot. So they make riskier plays further up the field, get beat, and you have more open space to make those shots without even being under duress.
Or the keeper has to stay there for the block and can't be there to hit you when you drive by. So
they're going to say Derek Malone got beat on the back, and now Rochester's out in transition. Zach New trying to get a tackle. He almost has one, but he's going to be beat, as bludger control has almost exclusively belonged to Rochester throughout the course of this game. And
so they've sent
Rochester's on the far left-hand side near the spectators here, and Will's trying to work his way up, and he can't.
Number 77 over here from Rochester has just kind of been wandering alone, and he seems to be the biggest threat right now. If they drive and dish, he keeps making cuts right behind, and Derek Malone's going to have a hard time being able to cover that. This guy looks like he's got a good catch radius, could jump up and make a play.
And Will occupying a beater so well out there, but no point chaser being able to force the ball away from Rochester. And they're going to throw one through the mid-hoop.
Wow.
They're going to call that one good. Hold on a second.
Looks like Tech doesn't believe that it's a good shot.
Yeah, they don't think that was a good goal. Zach New's going to come out, says that he's bleeding. He's going to get patched up here. And they're going to sub in a new chaser. Texas Tech's frustration starting to mount very quickly.
With the sport like Quidditch in USQ rules, there's no timeouts. It's very difficult to regroup and come up with a change of strategy partway through the game. So when you're able to do that, it's very impressive.
And then you talk about what's happening on the bench.
Yep. A lot of negativity right now.
Will bleeding as well. Okay, they were checking to make sure that Zach New injury sub was okay, and it is. But the frustration mounting very quickly, and then you talk about the makeup of the Texas Tech roster. A lot of experience, a lot of top-tier players that are gonna go on to successful community team careers after this is all over if they choose to do so, and a lot of youth. A lot of youth making up the rest of that. So the frustration because of the gap in terms of knowing,
And so they need to be able to train players, but it's just like a lot of teams having problems getting people at practice.
Your responsibility is not just to win; it's to make better Quidditch players.
Oh yeah, and you got. Yep. Oh, is that a score over there?
Number 77 for Texas Tech gets the dub.
Angel, first name.
Angel gets the goal.
Valenzuela, I believe, the last name. That's really big if he can get goals for them because they need to find some other scorers. This keeper right here, first name Cole, he has been one that stepped up today. He's a freshman, and he's got a lot of potential, but he's got a long way to go too.
And this game going to be one of those defining moments for him, maybe, as he's being forced off the keeper line, and maybe a free run at the hoops here without the beater in his way. And there you go, the freshman gets the goal.
That's what he's got to do. They've got a lot of work, though, still to come. Rochester looks like a very well-coached team. They look polished compared to Tech. So Tech's going to have to grind this one out if they're going to have a chance.
No doubt about that. And we saw earlier, we saw Kansas get out early versus Texas State. And Texas State come back in the back half of that. We saw Mizzou get out early versus UTSA and lose in overtime to the Mizzou Tigers.
But both of those matchups,
highly skilled.
They're more polished. More athletes, more depth of athletes, but it's just they're different types of matchups. It's very interesting. If Tech can come back in there, they'll show something they haven't shown so far this season.
No doubt about that. And like you said, Tech really got to stop the bleeding defensively. That's been the biggest struggle here today, not just the offense. The offense has seen opportunities. They just haven't finished.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to have to be aggressive on offense because they're not going to be able to make the stops here because the beating game is just so good from Rochester. They need to open it up for their chasers, and they need to match score, and then they need to make at least a few more stops to get back in this game. But they've got to score. They can't turn the ball over, or that's what she wrote.
And Texas Tech slowly going to work on getting some consistent offense up here. And another shot, and it's caught.
Right to the keeper.
And when you're talking about teams that are out of region, that aren't in the Southwest, accustomed to seeing those angles that teams typically make, and then you talk about the youth. Sometimes, as time goes on, you start to learn that a nice throw by Cody Boyes, and it looks like Quam's going to come in and snack.
Yeah, he did it just so he could get that bludger, and they were able to outspeed him to it.
And now running around the perimeter right here, number 12 gets a pass up front and a nice one. Beautiful alley-oop, perfectly timed. Nobody stopped. Nobody even bucked him before. Nobody even tried to chuck move him before he tried to get there. And Rochester's running away with this one.
Tech's got some things that they're going to learn from this game, hopefully, and they can go forward. It looks like Rochester, unless they really start to look like a different team, that they're going to.
Nice catch by Cody Boyes and a beat. A very rare bobble by Derek Malone.
Like
recovers it. Now he's looking for a run. Angel going for the goal. He gets it. That's his third one today.
That's big. Malone needs a dish player out there with him because he draws a lot of attention. He's got to have somebody step up.
And you talk about getting this game back in the snitch range, why Texas Tech needs to do that so much. Derek Malone, if he's – a lot of people argue Derek Malone, Team USA quality type seeker.
Yeah, if he's in his best shape, which he's in very good shape right now, he definitely gives a lot of snitches, especially those that are not long-armed.
Right.
He gives them a lot of problems.
Not many 6'6" snitches out here in Quidditch. A lot of them utilize a lot of speed. Derek Malone's got a good amount of that because he's
long strides.
Got the basketball type frame,
but length for days.
And now he stepped off the keeper zone, sees a screen coming, is able to stop that one. And now Angel's trying to force the keeper for Rochester back up top to get them off the keeper zone.
They're just so deep into the Texas. Oh, that was not a smart shot, but they got the ball right back. They got the bounce there.
And Derek Malone gets tripped up by a beater. Lucas Callan onto the field, and it looked like Derek Malone was going for a tackle, and a beater from Rochester just simply fell down in front of him, and that's what messed up his path.
And he tripped, and I'm wondering if they're arguing that he ran into them or
with the intent to knock him over.
No, it definitely looked unintentional, but I'm interested to see what the refs are talking about right now.
Yeah, it's always an interesting conversation with the official sees in comparison to what we see.
You would think it'd be a back to hoop most likely if it was unintentional, and that looks like what's being called right here. But Tech, they can't let them push them so far back.
Yeah, they're working them into a point where they're almost corralled inside their own keeper zone.
Yep.
And we've seen that happen before. Earlier during this game, we saw that happen with Leanne Dillman when she's out on the pitch as well as a female beater for the Bosnian Bear Sharks.
It looked like number 37 shot, and it went through, and they never called goal good, and I didn't see them say goal no good, so it was kind of an awkward situation right after that.
That was an interesting call there, a turnover of the quaffle to Rochester. Rochester, a team that was heavily underrated by a lot of Quidditch media, in particular the eighth man, and Ethan Sturm.
Interesting. It's surprising that he would underrate them because he's in the Northeast. So
exactly,
he
sees them all the time.
Them up quite a bit, so. But maybe they're coming together at the right moment here.
And it seems like a Texas Tech alum worked his way onto the field, and he will be administered a card if he interacts with this game any further because, well, not every spectator gets seats like that. Just because you're friends with the players doesn't mean you get to be on the bench.
I've been there.
A nice beat up front. Nice move. Let's see if they can recover from it. Derek Malone trying to get out in transition. Angel trying to help him as well. Derek Malone going to finish. He's got the deception to be able to finish that one up top.
He's got the length to be able to turn, and his arm goes up. There's no blocking him unless you are ready to make that jump, and that's not going to happen.
Score currently 100-60. Rochester leading over Texas Tech.
Well, it seems like a bigger gap than that.
Yes,
they've
it
been
did.
They've been able to keep it close enough that they just need 1 or 2 more goals, and
We'll see what they can do. We'll see what they can do with Perry Wayne coming back into the game.
I'm a little worried about the cinch on pitch game for Tech because the beaters look so good for Rochester right now.
Rochester about to get a beat up top. Nice face beat by Cody Boyes. He ran through a beat, so there's going to be a quaffle turnover almost automatically. Cody Boyes able to work a ball away from Perry Wayne, throw another one to the opposite side of the pitch, leaving the beaters to go run after that one, leaving him all alone with the quaffle carrier.
Yep, and face beats, some people think that they might be illegal sometimes, but they are legal as long as it's not like from a foot away and launching it as hard as you can.
And Cody Boyes just did a simple, he didn't even fully extend, it was a simple push beat.
Yep.
As Cody Boyes tries to calm himself down after he got red carded earlier today.
Oh, yeah, he let his emotions get the best of him. Some bad calls went against him, but he can't let it can't give away opportunities like that. And I know he knows that.
And another face beat from Cody Boyes. Trying to get to Perry Wayne, who's standing right in front of the mid hoop, and he knows what he has to do. Cody has to draw a beat and force Perry to throw his ball there and then beat him.
That was a great play from Perry Wayne. He was able to both deflect, beat the other beater, and keep the ball right next to him.
Perry Wayne now sending that beater pressure, getting him off the hoops, and now Texas Tech with an opportunity.
Oh,
Derek Malone is going to deflect that one, and another shot behind the hoops, not intended to be scored, but intended to be a pass. Can she get to it before she's off broom?
It was off the hard boundary, I believe. She came off broom just to run back faster. Yeah, I don't know if that might have been a shot attempt, but
Perry Wayne defeated and beaten back there, and now bludgeon control lies with Texas Tech. Will they pressure is the question, and
they've got to pick their moment. They've got a beater up there protecting. If they can get him out of the way, or if he makes a mistake, they need to press immediately.
Leading scorer.
Oh, right there. It looked like a missed beat, but apparently it caught.
And now Angel's going to be walked down by Perry Wayne. He's going to maintain a nice beat on Perry Wayne, but it won't stop the shot. Yes, it will. A deflection up front, and now Texas Tech hustling hard.
That was a fantastic play for number 22. She stepped right in front of the small hoop where he's been hitting those shots, and she got the block there. If she's not there, that's probably another mid-range shot goal.
Interesting turn of events here as Texas Tech trying to slowly work their way back into this game. Seeker play going to be a big portion of that. Expect Sean Towson to be
probably defending, I would
think. Yeah, no doubt. That's why they send him out there quick-footed. And hold on a second. This may be the turn of events that Texas Tech needs a yellow card. And it looks like it was back contact, and they're going to call the yellow after he continued to engage on the tackle from behind. So down a chaser. It maybe, just maybe, draws the beaters just a little bit further out, so they have to defend that area. One beater's beat. Will draws another one. Another kick out to Derek Malone. Excellent vision by Angel.
That is the play they need to make. You need to have a driver and a dish-off option.
And
so now is that a 30-point game now?
And a throw. Angel has beat Perry Wayne is going insane here, ladies and gentlemen. On the attack now, Rochester trying to increase the lead. Is it blocked?
Finish.
They're going to call that one good.
Got it.
Current score, 110-70, so the lead, it was at a 3-point lead.
Back to 4, okay, so Tech's got to get one more to have a chance to pull to go to overtime. So they're going to keep defending until they get that opportunity.
And Rochester going to have a conversation. Angel has been playing really well here today.
He's needed to step up, and this is probably the best game I've seen offensively. I haven't been able to gauge the defense because the beaters have been performing so well for Rochester. They've been beating out chasers. They've been beating out beaters. It's hard to tell on defense. But the offense, definitely Angel has been one that stepped up big today.
And this is going to be a no call on the part of the officiating crew here. A fake handoff from Derek Malone. He's got 2 chasers in front of him. Perry Wayne just behind them. So somebody's got to get a bludger and get that on Perry Wayne to distract him.
And you can see that both beaters, they had 2 bludgers and they were staying on defense. It looks like they called Derek Malone clear on that beat attempt.
Yeah, and it may have hit the dirt before it actually hit him.
That's huge. They had 2 beaters back on defense with bludgeon. They still weren't able to stop.
And they need one stop.
They just lost track completely of this chaser down here.
So distracted as what was happening with the snitch.
Those easy goals are huge right now.
And Sean Townsend using a pretty sneaky technique there. He's not wrapping up on a tackle. He's holding him, making sure that he has his arm completely extended out, not stopping him from advancing, has his body in between his neck where his shoulder is and in between his arm, and forcing and corralling the seeker for Rochester in there, and he slips down on the attack.
He just has to be careful not to get a wrap.
Right.
Or else that would be his second yellow, is that correct?
And yes, it would be, because he got called for one early.
That would be a huge play. I think that Lucas, their coach, needs to definitely make sure he warns them about that.
And now on the attack, Angel looking for an option. He actually ends up getting the ball stripped away. Texas Tech has got one behind the hoops, but their chaser is off broom, so that ball should be in possession of Rochester.
Yep, that's where
Perry Wang is now leading the way, trying to beat a bunch of Red Raiders out on the way to the hoops, trying to increase the lead to 50, and they look like they might. No, Derek Malone's got him down, and Texas Tech has a stop.
Oh, that's some back contact as well right there, but it looks like they let it go.
Will being told.
It's William Wells the third. He needs to get back if they want to take out the seeker.
And they keep the lead at a 40-point lead so far in this one. Rochester being stopped, and probably Texas Tech's most pivotal defensive stand in this game so far.
Yep, they haven't been able to make a lot of tackles near the hoops, but that was a big one. If they're going to have a chance, they're going to have to score and make stops. They need to make at least one more and catch to go to overtime.
And Cody Boys avoids a beat up front, and Derek Malone's got to run at the hoops. He's tucked the ball. Can he finish? He loses the quaffle behind the hoops. It's scooped up by Texas Tech, and now a scrum forward again. Wait a minute. She gets free, pops the ball free.
Looks like she might have been beat and continued playing. She didn't realize she had been beat.
Right.
That's a rare one. Normally, Derek Malone would finish that, but he ended up having to tuck it, which takes away his length advantage when he's near the hoops. Normally, it's very difficult to strip him.
And there may be there may be a beater penalty coming up, or they're gonna, oh man, they're gonna yellow card Sean Townsend.
This is the second time I've seen that this year, as a seeker, getting carded a second yellow.
And Sean Townsend is now ejected from this game as his second yellow. And that's for the same technique we described, that Sean is basically in the first stages of initiating a tackle. He has a man lined up between his shoulder blade, his neck, and in between his arm.
If the guy hits him in the middle of, like, the other side of your elbow, it closes your arm, and it turns it into a slight wrap, which makes it look at least like you're attempting to wrap. That's a big call right now.
And Sean Townsend still explaining it over to Lucas. And it's going to be 2 minutes down. A seeker. Interesting situation that they find themselves in.
I mean, basically, they have to rely on the snitch to hold him by himself. They really need to commit everything to trying to get stops and trying to score buckets right now.
Derek Malone with a nice catch, two-handed catch on his broom as well. And Rochester is sending a female seeker, and this is one of those female chasers we saw out here balling out of control for Rochester, so not to be underrated at all.
Yeah, I wonder if she I'm wondering if she is one of their primary seekers, because she definitely has the athleticism.
Derek Malone forced to make a bad pass behind the hoops over there, and that's going to be a little disappointing when he goes back and look at it, because he had an opportunity to run it down. A throw intended for Perry Wayne gets missed. Cody Boys is going to recover, and it looks like they're going to run for – there's going to be a bludger off pitch intended for Rochester. They're going to run that one down. Went over the bleachers here. Cody Boys beating down every single thruster he can get his hands on here. He's going to be beat, send the ball back.
That was a good bounce for Tech. Right back to William Wells, who can step up now and defend. Oh, that's a bad miss right there.
That was intended to be a deceptive type throw, but he missed the target on the deception. Released way too high. A shot up top, and looks like a possible goal on the way for Rochester. The lead is now up to 50.
Yeah,
120 to 50. 120.
That much tougher. But very well played game from Rochester so far. They seem like, like I said before, they should be winning by more, but Tech is a scrappy team. They're keeping themselves in it, even though Rochester, yeah, just has looked like the more polished team so far.
And Angels has the ball popped loose by the opposing chaser for Rochester. Now Derek Malone has it. He's got a beater up front. Can he take advantage of it? Crosses over middle, gets away from one tackle, spins out of that one. Now he's got to run. Perry Wang drops his bludger. Now Derek Malone's got to run at it. Takes a shot. Did that go in? It did not. It's behind the hoops. She's going to try and spin free. There's multiple thrusters around her, and now the beaters are coming in to clean this one up.
Yep.
Another shot behind the hoops, another pass attempted by Derek Malone.
It was hard to tell if it was a shot or a pass attempt because it was so close to going in on that.
First handicap's 1 yard off midline. Yes.
Now on the way over here on the attack again, injured but still playing and balling too, and it looks like Derek Malone's attempted shoulder grab will not be called as there is a 60-point lead now for Rochester. A nice throw from the seeker, a nice throw from the snitch, and Texas Tech is going to bump the terrestrial seeker all the way down to the ground, and no call is made.
Well, it looked like there was a wide open snitch. The snitch turned around and was just standing still. The other one had a wide open grab, and 99 on Tech just ran through, extended his arm, and it did push him to the ground. It was hard to tell if it was an illegal move or not.
And now Rochester's on a run after a turnover up top from the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Another score.
And it looks like there's a grab from Rochester's head coach.
Immediately called no good, it looks like, by the head referee here.
And it may have been as he was falling down, it was because of Rochester's seeker that came into the game. He fell.
Yeah, I don't know why they've stopped play. He said it was no good.
Just not focused.
Hear the whistles.
Sign that everybody's tired. Derek Malone taking a long shot, a signal that he's tired as well. A little disappointing.
Legs.
And Derek Malone
looks like he's a little upset that didn't have a lot of teammates running up with him there. It happens, and it comes with experience and practice.
And it comes with that working on that mental toughness. A lot of these guys on Texas Tech take a lot of hard hits playing in the Southwest, and then just in practice in general, a lot of tough players, and the lead expands out to 70.
Yep, another looked to be a mid-range shot. I saw the tail end of it, and it bounced off the bottom of the base and went, or the top of the hoop base and went through.
Some of the Texas Tech fans here upset with the hustle that the Raiders are putting out there. It doesn't matter if you're tired.
Yep,
you got a job
tired,
to do.
You got to sub out.
Yeah,
get somebody who's got fresh legs in there.
And that's what they will do. They will send in number 17 for the first time here today. It looks like a spin away, back over to the freshman. Can he come up with another goal? He tried to one-handed grab that. He had to get underneath it, and that's a kick up front. And it looks like Cody Boyce. No, that was Zach New came up with that one. And a kick beat as well. Perry Wang's out. He's going to get beaten. They're going to throw the ball over to him. Rochester for the first time here today, beater-wise, getting corralled and owned on that play.
These beaters that are in right now never play beater, and I don't know if they've ever played beater in an actual game. A freshman, number 8.
Guess what?
And Zach New, who's an experienced chaser, but they just went ham on it right there and made some stuff happen.
And it was pretty – and that's pretty simple. It was like some really simple plays that were going down over there, too. Nothing super complicated.
If you might be able to hear my wife, Kristen O'Brien.
Yeah, like I said there's a fan not happy with the effort that Texas Tech is putting in there. Texas Tech alum Kristen O'Brien over here to the right of us.
She hasn't been this excited all day, so.
Because she sees the opportunities for Texas Tech, and they're just not capitalizing.
That's it.
We should know this question immediately. This is the second time, by the way, Phil. At one point during one of the games, and I believe it was Rochester's game, there was a mouth guard just like laying around, a rogue mouth guard near the keeper zone of the Rochester Terrestrials, and nobody claimed it. I feel like you should know immediately when your mouth guard's gone.
Yeah, there's one literally right next to our table here that's not claimed.
It's just laying. It may be the one from the game that I saw before.
Maybe.
And then, of course,
after the
tournament's over, we'll see tons of posts in the Facebook group about anybody seen this description of a lost and found. Always a big part of Quidditch.
Yep.
I feel like Quidditch sometimes single-handedly keeps post offices open with how much stuff that has to get sent across country when people go to tournaments.
Yeah, it's just you leave stuff around. You walk away for a little bit. Don't ever.
If you don't leave it near your tent.
Yep.
Oh, you never put anything down unless it's near your tent. Pretty much, that's the rule.
True. They're still being aggressive driving. The pass over the top. Oh,
nice
beat from Zach New over there.
Oh, another nice snitch attempt there from number 12.
He's real close. He seems to have the technique down. He's just barely missing it.
And on top of that, he's also, when he's sliding, he's making sure to keep his feet completely flat so he can actually slide with the snitch.
Low,
yeah.
Gets underneath the snitch's arms.
As the time is waiting to be elapsed, it's an 80-point
lead.
Not
sure why Tech is going to beat the Seeker right now. They need, if they're trying to get into the game, then they need to play on.
That was a late throw from Klom over there, and he threw it back to his side of the pitch. And there's an official over there.
He put his hand up. Why did he put it away? I don't know why he didn't make that call, but you got to play on.
Yeah, you can't control what the referees do. That's an interesting call there for sure, because these officials have been pretty spot on for the vast majority of games I've seen them call here today.
Yep, that's true.
And now a turnover by Texas Tech as the offense is really devolving.
The beaters got it.
Nice play.
That's what they need, but they need a lot of it.
Well, I got to say this or it doesn't count. Sick beat, bro.
Oh, yeah? Sick beat, bro. Oh, that was, but you'd like it to be under better circumstances here.
And let's see if the freshman can make something happen. He's got two defenders around him. Makes a nice pass. It's caught, and Quaffle's loose and stripped away. Man, Rochester has done everything right here today. They have done an excellent job on defense up front. They have forced bad passes, forced bad shots, and the beater game was really in their hands.
Yeah.
Up until just a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, that's definitely true. There's a crazy play over there where Simmons on Tech had the ball bouncing all around and almost.
Oh, nice block by Angel. Run it. The play is stopped for a catch.
Or was it after? Catch. We've been seeing him
so far here today on pitch one, we've had one catch called off out of all the games that have been here. And it looks like Central Michigan just won a game. And it may have been against Penn State. These Rochester Thrustrals really thought they were going to end up playing those Penn State Nittany Lions, but Penn State went out and got a win versus Texas Tech. And that is going to be a game.
Tech is going to have a lot to work on for tomorrow. Rochester gets to come out of this feeling pretty good.
And
knowing that
Tech is going to have to stay up a little late to check the schedule to see who they're playing tomorrow morning.
Yep, that's just part of the tournament. That's it.
And we're checking on the final score here. Going to get it to you in a second. It's 200-80.
Yeah, it was so tight for a little bit there, and it just got out of control. Rochester just really took over. The fast breaks were just the difference in it, the beating and the fast breaks there.
Sorry. Texas Tech, like you said, a lot to talk about. I'm sure Kristen is going to go yell at him right now. Kristen O'Brien, one of the best coaches in Quidditch. Motivates me on a regular basis. So, and if she can motivate a lazy guy like me, she can definitely get these kids into shape. They have the potential. That was the worst part about watching that entire game. They have the potential to go out there and get that win. Rochester, like you said, clean, polished, finished off everything. Perry Wayne Quam did not miss very often, and their two-male beater set off. That's just their natural state of play. Yep. So they have way more familiarity with it than a lot of other teams do. As Texas A&M, the Aggies are walking onto the pitch over here, waiting to see who their opponent's going to be.
Yeah, I've got to say Rochester looks good enough to beat all of the kind of second-tier teams in the college ranks.
Our former teammate, Miles Travis, in the building.
Yep. You got A&M coming. We got Miles Travis. We see Cole Travis when we watch Cavalry.
And Straw Hat's here. I don't actually know his name. I just know that he's crossed me up quite a few times.
I think of Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
And when he and the crazy part is when he's on the field, you see him cross people up, and he's one of those guys who runs on his tippy toes, so he's always ready to cross.
Yep.
So his hat wiggles as he's crossing you up. It's
he
pretty.
Used to wear the Raiden hat, and it got destroyed, and so he switched to this other straw hat.
Straw hat over there. We'll see who else is coming. Our guy Killen should be walking up here in a second. We'll see you here. And Sean Townsend, a little upset, and Derek Malone as well. They're going to walk off the pitch here as Texas Tech falls in a big one, 200-80. They'll be headed back to the hotel, warming up. Same thing for Rochester.
Yeah.
They're 3-1.
3-1, yeah. Congrats to them. They have proven that they are a solid team here, and they're dangerous for even some of those top teams. Like if they're not ready for it, they can be dangerous.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, final score one more time. 200-80. Rochester over Texas Tech.